The story of the legend Cristiano Ronaldo does not begin on the green grass or under the booming lights of world-class stadiums. The starting point was out there, on a small, isolated piece of land in the heart of the Atlantic Ocean, called the Portuguese island of Madeira. There in Funchal stood a humble and cramped house with a tin roof and walls that were eroding and peeling away over time. The salty sea winds would harshly seep through the cracks of the old wooden windows of that house. In this place lived a small child named Cristiano, who owned nothing of this world except a wild, untamable dream. Decades before millions would chant his name in the stands, he was just a boy running barefoot in the narrow, sloping alleys of Funchal. His family was completely unable to afford new clothes for him, let alone buy proper football boots. When it rained, water would clearly leak through the crevices of the decaying roof, flooding the place. On days when provisions were scarce, his mother did her best to make a small pot of soup enough for 4 hungry children. His father, José Diniz Aveiro, earned his living working as a gardener for the city municipality, besides cleaning the premises of a local football club. As for his mother, Maria Dolores, she moved between neighbours' houses to clean and cook in exchange for a few escudos, just to get by. Cristiano was forced to sleep in a suffocating bedroom where his small bed was squeezed right next to his older brother Hugo's bed. He would lie awake at night, listening to the whistling of the ocean winds, sailing with his imagination inside a giant football stadium. He imagined the crowd shouting his name with enthusiasm, the floodlights shining over his head, and the ball perfectly under his control at his feet. His aspirations were far grander than his simple reality, and this passion was his only life raft during hard times. His father, Dinis, loved football to the core, but his life was darkened by his surrender to alcohol addiction. Addiction gradually stole his health and family presence, to the point where he would disappear from sight for days on end. Despite all that suffering, the father always made sure his young child never lacked a ball to run after. The father saw the ball as an escape from a reality he never got to live, hoping his son would cross over to safety through it. At just 8 years old, Cristiano officially joined Andorinha Club, a small local team where his father worked as a volunteer. His first matches were not on a lush grass carpet, but on a rugged dirt ground filled with uneven stones. If he stumbled and fell, he would rise immediately. If his knees bled, he would continue running and dribbling carelessly. The older boys intentionally pushed and knocked him down to break his spirit, but every hit only made him hungrier to prove his superiority. He stood out with an incredible speed that surpassed all his peers, bypassing larger children as if they were ghosts that didn't exist. Coaches glimpsed an innate speed and a burning spark of enthusiasm in him, a perfect combination just waiting for someone to polish it. Financial crises piled up like mountains on the family, so Cristiano sometimes helped his mother clean houses. At other times he accompanied his father, carrying heavy gardening tools to assist him in his work. But as soon as a free moment appeared, he would rush to the alleys to kick and juggle the ball against the walls for hours. Football was not just a game he loved, it was his sole identity and his golden gateway to escape poverty. Later in his life, his mother confided a grave secret to him, confirming that she had considered aborting him when she learned of her pregnancy. Instead of anger, Ronaldo turned this shocking confession into a spiritual fuel to drive himself forward. He once stated to a journalist, "My mother tried to abort me, but God refused, and I am here today to prove I was born to live." When he reached 12 years of age, the offer he had long waited for knocked on his door, changing his life forever. Sporting CP, one of Portugal's giants, wanted to recruit him immediately into their prestigious academy. That meant sacrificing everything, leaving Madeira, parting from his family, saying goodbye to the sea breeze, and depriving himself of his mother's food. His mother packed his small, modest bag, and they embraced at the airport for nearly an hour, as if time had stopped between them. Cristiano firmly promised her through his tears, saying, "I will make you proud of me, and I will make our family rich one day." The mother smiled through her tears, while the 12-year-old boy boarded the plane alone, battling a mixture of fear and hope. He didn't realize back then that this step was just the first sacrifice in a career that would be full of tough compromises. To him, Lisbon felt like a massive, bustling and cold-hearted city compared to the warmth and familiarity of his small hometown, Funchal. Inside the academy, the other boys mocked him and repeatedly made fun of his accent from the rural island of Madeira. They nicknamed him the Crybaby because he spent his nights alone, sobbing out of deep homesickness for his home and family. But the moment his feet stepped onto the pitch, his tears would dry completely, transforming into a ruthless ferocity. He was a ravenous beast whenever his feet touched the ball, fast, decisive, and unstoppable by any defender. While the other boys snuck out at night to have fun, Cristiano trained alone under the cover of darkness. He ran long distances, lifted primitive DIY weights he made himself, and practiced free kicks until the guard turned off the field lights. He hated losing so much that if his teammates slacked off in training, he would get furious and abandon them to train entirely alone. The coaches noticed this behavior, and some initially thought he was arrogant and looked down on everyone. But as time passed, everyone realized that it was never arrogance, but an absolute obsession with perfection and success. At the age of 15, a sudden health scare in his heart almost ended his football career and his dream forever. Doctors discovered he suffered from a dangerous racing heart condition which threatened his life and could ban him from playing permanently. His mother cried out of fear for him, but Cristiano reassured her with steadfastness, insisting he would be fine because he had no other option. The boy underwent a delicate surgery using laser technology to fix the defect and save his passion-beating heart. Just a few days after the surgery, he returned to the pitch, training intensely as if nothing had ever happened. Giving up or backing down was never an option in the dictionary of this resilient youth. By the time he turned 16, the coaching staff at Sporting Lisbon realized they possessed a rare, unreplicable gem. They pushed him to play for the first team against players much older than him, and his skill made them look completely helpless. He would pretend to go one way, then sprint like lightning in the opposite direction, leaving defenders spinning around themselves. News spread like wildfire across Europe about a teenager at Sporting doing wonders that others couldn't even imagine.
Then came the decisive moment in 2003. Through a friendly match that altered the course of global football history. The English giant, Manchester United, entered the game expecting an easy stroll, but they faced a hurricane from a lean teenager wearing green and white. Ronaldo humiliated veteran Premier League defenders with his skill, making them run desperately after his shadow on the pitch. His feints were as quick as a flash, and his bursts with the ball were like untraceable electrical charges. As the final whistle blew, United players went straight to their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, demanding that he sign him immediately. The players astoundingly assured the manager that they had never in their lives witnessed a talent of such essence and speed. Sir Alex, known for his sharp eye for talent, did not hesitate and made his decisive choice at that very moment. The elderly Scot realized that Cristiano Ronaldo must wear the red jersey of Manchester United without delay. With a record fee of £12.24 million for a teenager back then, the boy from Madeira moved to England. He could not speak English, feeling a crippling loneliness and a powerful longing for his country and his beloved mother. But when he was handed the legendary number 7 shirt, he felt a great responsibility and a challenge born from the womb of suffering. This number had been worn by the club's greatest, such as George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. The boy realized well that he had to fight and give his absolute best to be worthy of carrying this heavy legacy. Initially, Ronaldo appeared as a raw talent who dazzled fans with an exhibition of tricks and artistic flair with the ball. But Sir Alex wasn't just looking for a showman to entertain the crowd. He wanted to craft a true champion. Ferguson gave crucial advice to Ronaldo, saying, "Football is not just about tricks. Efficiency and goals are what decide matches." Cristiano listened deeply to the lesson, starting to spend long hours on the field, long after everyone else had gone home. He would hit over 100 free kicks daily, never leaving the field until mastering them flawlessly. He lifted weights regularly, turning his leg muscles into powerful propulsion engines and his lean frame into a terrifying biological machine. His teammates mocked his intense obsession with his physical appearance and his repeated glances in the mirror. But their mockery evaporated entirely when they watched him tear through everyone with superhuman speed and pounce on opponents in matches. It became certain to everyone then that it was never about vanity, but the strict standards he imposed on himself to reach the top. In 2006, Ronaldo faced one of the toughest psychological and professional tests of his young career. England clashed with Portugal in a heated match, which saw the sending off of Wayne Rooney, Ronaldo's Manchester United teammate. The cameras caught his famous wink to the bench after the dismissal, triggering a relentless, ruthless onslaught from the British press. The media labeled him a cheat and a traitor, and he received public death threats from angry fans. He seriously considered packing his bags and leaving England permanently, but Sir Alex stood behind him like an impenetrable shield and convinced him to stay. Cristiano responded to the insults the only way he knew how. He turned on the pitch into an unstoppable footballing force of destruction. He was crowned with his first Ballon d'Or in 2008, after brilliantly leading Manchester United to capture the UEFA Champions League title. He managed to score 42 goals across various competitions during that historically legendary season for the club. The boy who ran barefoot in the dusty streets of Madeira had officially become the ruler on the throne of the best player in the world. In the summer of 2009, Real Madrid made him the most expensive player in history, with a staggering £80 million deal. In the Spanish capital, Madrid, Cristiano turned into a supernatural goal-scoring phenomenon and a terrifying, relentless machine. He set a legendary record by scoring 451 goals in just 438 matches played with the Royal Club. He broke records sequentially for fun and clinched 4 historic Champions League titles with Los Blancos. During that era, the eternal rivalry between Ronaldo and Messi ignited, becoming the greatest debate in the history of the beautiful game. Messi, the magical artist who danced past defenders effortlessly like a passing phantom that could not be touched or tracked, and Ronaldo, the lethal machine that never grew weary, forcing glory and victory through sheer physical and mental steel will. Two players with completely contrasting styles, together shaping a unique footballing era that will never be repeated in sports history thanks to their genius. Off the pitch, Cristiano succeeded in constructing a massive economic and commercial empire under his luxury name. His CR7 brand expanded to include luxury hotel chains, modern gyms, fashion lines, and international fragrance collections. Despite his immense wealth, Cristiano Ronaldo never forgot his early roots and his childhood suffering in Madeira. He donated millions of dollars to build and support children's hospitals and medical research centers worldwide. He covered the entire cost of chemotherapy for a 9-year-old boy who was battling malignant cancer. He put one of his Ballon d'Or trophies up for a public auction, dedicating all its proceeds to fund and build education projects for children in poor areas. He surrounds his family with immense protection and care, deeply loving his mother, considering her the steady rock he leans on in life. His children represent his greatest source of pride and his true happiness for which he fights every day. Even to this day, as he goes through a new experience in Saudi stadiums, doubters come out to repeat that he is completely finished. But he responds in every match by assisting, scoring, and leading his team on the field with the spirit of a passionate teenager. Because for Cristiano, there is always a record waiting to be broken and a new towering mountain waiting to be climbed to reach its peak. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a flawless human being. He is a mortal who makes mistakes and gets things right in his career like any of us. But if you want a clear roadmap on how to pull yourself out of nothingness and forge glory, look no further than this man. He is the boy who tamed the impossible, turning burning tears into golden cups and distant imaginations into tangible reality. If you are watching this video right now, perhaps you too possess your own version of Madeira's dusty and rugged streets.
Perhaps you are fighting your own lonely, solitary battles right now. During nights that grew long with staying up, loneliness, and darkness. And perhaps you feel at these moments that there isn't a single human being on earth who believes in your strength and capabilities. If this is your situation, make the details of this story a fundamental drive for you in your upcoming journey. Always remember that your current suffering and obstacles can transform one day into your superpower and the secret of your success. Cristiano Ronaldo's career is the living proof that the only limits in this life are those you impose on your own mind. When they tell you that you are incapable of working harder, or when they mock your aspirations, use this mockery as your fuel. If you stumble and fall to the ground, rise again, then rise and rise, without weariness or boredom until you reach your goal. Because sometimes, the only thing separating a child who has nothing from a man who possesses everything is the courage to believe that the impossible is possible.